So hello, welcome back again, and you're very welcome to module 2. So today I'm going to look at building resilience in our children and have a look at how as parents we can be role models for them. But firstly, just checking in with ourselves, and this is just to bring into your awareness. What would your parents say you were like when you were growing up? So what would your parents say you were like as a child or as a teenager? And are you saying the same things now about your child? And maybe you want to write that down as well. So what would your parents say you were like growing up? Were you a very quiet, shy teenager? Quite shy child? Were you a drama queen? Were you independent? So what would they say? Okay, so resilience. So what does resilience mean? So to build resilience in children means to teach our children how to adapt to upset, tragedy or trauma and to manage the feelings of anxiety, fear or stress that can go with it. It doesn't mean they won't experience upset, tragedy or trauma. It just means they will have the skills to manage it better. So I suppose life is life. It will throw curveballs in our way. We will suffer upset. We will have tragedy. And it's just how we cope with it and how can we pass those skills on to our children. Okay, so building resilience. So to build resilience in your child, it means to teach your child the importance of self-care. So the importance of eating, sleeping, playing, relaxing. So the importance of taking care of yourself and that it's okay to take care of yourself. Encourage your child to play because children learn more effectively through play. Encourage your child to explore and develop what routine suits him or her. So this kind of can link back into the problem solving worksheet we covered in the last video. And I just gave the example of the morning routine. So what routine in the morning would suit your child better? So it's recognizing the individuality of your child and asking them, well, what routine suits you better? So everyone doesn't have to have the same routine once we all get there in the end. Support your child in making friends and creating a sport network. So again, that's really about building bonds with other children and other adults, and building their social skills. Make humor and laughter part of life. Show that it's okay to laugh at yourself. So sometimes you do something without thinking or something silly and you just laugh at yourself. That's okay. That's healthy. Encourage your child to set goals and work towards them. So is there something they want to achieve? And what do they need to do to achieve it? Encourage your child to trust their instincts to problem solve and make decisions. So it's really, what do you feel you need to do here? Trust yourself. What do you think you need to do to solve this? Identify when your child has handled a situation well and praise them. So maybe they came up against bullying at school and handled it well. Or maybe they were able to stand up for themselves and handle themselves well. Or maybe they were really supportive to another child or a sibling or played well with another sibling. Acknowledge that and praise them for it. Teach your child to manage change, that things are constantly changing. And I suppose that is something that I'm actually working on with my own little boy. Even though he's 3, he can be very, get very upset if things don't, go according to routine, which they always can't. So sometimes it just involves taking the time to sit down with him and talk to him about, okay, today we need to do things a little bit differently. It only takes 5 minutes, and once he has it explained to him, then he's well able to manage it. Show that it's okay to make mistakes, not the end of the world, and that it's okay to try again. So even though, things mightn't always work out, it's okay. We just try again and you keep trying. Encourage your child to manage their emotions and that all emotions are okay. So it's okay to feel sad because you lost your game. It's okay to feel disappointed. It's okay to feel anxious starting a new class. Or it's okay to feel anxious starting school. That's normal. Teach them that it's okay to be angry, etc. It's just how we manage it. So I suppose this is a big one that we can kind of say, don't be angry now, you know. But anger is a very real emotion. It's a very normal emotion, you know. And I suppose to kind of suppress it, really, it can come out in other ways, in other forms of aggression. Encourage your child to find their own answers and solutions rather than providing them. So this is a big one as well, you know. We can kind of nearly go in there and do it for them, thinking we're coming from, you know, doing it in a good way. But I suppose really it's about building the child's coping skills and helping them find their own answers and their own solutions, and supporting them in that. Okay. Encouraging your child to be open and honest with you. So really, again, this is one of the foundations for the teenage years. So you're kind of building that relationship now, and you're encouraging your child to talk to you. You're aware of your communication styles. So you're aware that that you need to maybe not react and you need to listen more. So we've done all the speaking and listening skills. So now your child is coming to you and they want to talk to you about something. So can you identify when your child needs to talk to you? So do you notice when your child is quiet or a bit withdrawn? Do you cop, that, when there's something going on with them? So it's important to notice them times, and you might find that it may be, at the dinner table, you notice they're a bit quieter, or, maybe they come in and go straight to the room where normally they'd stop off and say hello. There's something doesn't just feel right about it. So that's about you, tuning into your own instincts as well as a parent, that something's not right here, So acknowledge it. So create that space for your child to talk to you. Whether it's in the car, whether it's at bedtime, when you're going out for a walk, just go with it. Whenever it crops up, just go with it there and then. Ask questions to find out more about the situation. So help me understand. So I really want to understand what's going on with you. Support your child in identifying the feelings they are having. So you're acknowledging the feelings, you're not dismissing the feelings. And be aware of your communication style and body language, so that you're having that assertive but open communication style with your child, that it's okay for your child to talk to you. Encourage your child to look at options around a situation. It would help their problem-solving skills. Talk about yourself when you were growing up, about your day, your feelings, So children, the tendency can be that when they come in, well, how was school? What did you do? And children feel that they have to perform the whole time and give rigmarole the whole time about what was going on for their day, and they're getting nothing back in return. And I know growing up myself, I would love to hear about my parents' childhood and what they did growing up, and how things were for them. So talk about your own childhood and things you did, and let them in. Create a pattern of talking with your child so they know that they can come to you when they need to. And be aware of how you react to things or how you respond to things. So even if they're telling you something that you're kind of going, if they did something in school they shouldn't have done, that you're not, losing your temper straight away. You're aware of how you're reacting, and you're holding your own in the situation. Okay, so what does it mean to be a role model? To be a role model for our children means to be completely aware of how what we do, say, and interact with them and others influences our child's way of being in the world. We as parents are the most important role models in our child's life. So we as parents are the most important role models in our child's life. Because of this, parents contribute massively to their child's development and journey into adulthood. And we lay the foundation for how our children are. So we lay that foundation for them, and they build on that. So how can parents be positive role models? So I suppose questions to ask yourself. Do you walk the walk, not talk the talk? So are you telling them to do something and not doing it yourself? How can you lead by example? So because children will mimic what you do and will copy what you do and be very tuned into what you do, how can you lead by example? Depending on what your model will influence your child's behaviour. And your children are always watching, listening, and learning and copying what you do and say. What you model will leave a lifelong impression on your children, and it sets them up for life. So it's really a very, very responsible role. And being a positive role model requires self-awareness, self-control, and effort. So you're constantly tuned into yourself and how you are behaving and how you are in each situation. So how can parents be positive role models? So respect. If you want your children to show respect, then you need to show respect to everyone around you. So you need to model self-respect and kindness. And I put that in because, you know, we can show great respect for everyone around us and maybe not respect ourselves and not be kind to ourselves. Anger. While anger should be seen as a normal emotion, it's the healthy management of this powerful emotion that children need to see their parents modeling. So that means, you know, that how do I express my anger? Or do I suppress it? Or do I acknowledge, look, I'm feeling a bit angry now. I just need to take 5 minutes for myself just to calm down. Stress. How do you manage stress? Are you aggressive, preoccupied, listless, or responsive? So your children will pick up on all that. What do your children see when you are stressed, and how could you include mindfulness practices to manage stress? So how can you be very much in the day and not caught up in the 101 things that you have to do over the next couple of weeks? So how can you bring it back to today? How do you model problem solving? Do you panic? Do you try and ignore it, or do you look for ways to solve it? So again, your problem solving worksheet will help you look at different options around any issues that may be coming up. Responsibilities. Do you manage or avoid responsibilities? So avoiding responsibilities will teach your children to do the same. So if your child is responsible for, you know, emptying the dishwasher and they're not doing it, they're avoiding their responsibilities. And how do you, or are you, avoiding your responsibilities? Mistakes. Admitting when we make a mistake shows strength of character. It models our children that we know we aren't always right and we can apologise if we need to. So it's okay to say to your child, I made a mistake there, I shouldn't have done that, I'm sorry. Celebrations. How do you celebrate the wins in life? It's okay to be happy and excited, and it's okay to be graceful in defeat also. So, you know, any parents that have their kids, you know, involved in sports or anything like that, you know, it's okay to celebrate a win, and it's also okay to be graceful in defeat. Change. How are you with change? Are you rigid and afraid of change? Does it cause you stress or anxiety? This will also teach children to resist change. And I suppose change is inevitable in life, and we have to kind of be more open to it and more able to roll with it. But I suppose resisting change will prevent us and them from being more open to new experiences. So I suppose this was a big one in my house as well, with my little boy as well, you know, that, you know, if anything was changed, you know, he went into toddler mode and there was, you know, tantrums and everything. And, you know, it just, like, you know, you'd say, I was saying, will he understand me? But I actually sat him down and said, you know, sometimes we have to do things differently, and it's okay to do things differently. We don't have to do the same thing every day. And, you know, after a while, he actually got it. And I can just, you know, see that bit by bit, he's getting more comfortable with, okay, but, you know, I have my routine, and, you know, we do X, Y, and Z every day, but sometimes, you know, sometimes we need to change from that, and that's okay. And I suppose, like I was saying before, it's, you know, it's about explaining to him why we need to do different things differently today. Okay, words. So words can build you up and words can knock you down. So the way you speak to and about people will also influence your children. Be aware of how you speak to your family, friends, and people in general. So be aware of how you speak. Positivity. Are you a glass half full type of person, or do you only see what you don't have? Recognize the good in life and show gratitude for it. Feelings. Share your feelings with your children. It will make you more approachable to them. So, you know, it's okay to say, I'm just feeling a bit sad today, or I'm feeling a bit tired today, or I'm feeling a bit angry. You know, it makes you more human to them. Talk about growing up and what it was like for you. If you are open about your feelings, it will encourage your children to do the same. Opinions. Express your opinions and encourage your children to do the same and stand up for their beliefs. Now, it doesn't mean that you railroad people into thinking the same way as you, but it's just that you have your opinion and you're respectful of other people's opinions. Patience. This is a big one when you're a parent. So show patience, not just when you're with your children, but life in general. Show tolerance and respect and teach your children that sometimes we have to wait. So I'm always saying this to my little boy. Sometimes we have to have patience, you know. So he's learning, I have to wait now before I can have this. How can you model assertiveness? Show your children how to stand up for themselves and still be respectful. And courage, model courage, acknowledge the fear and show how you can take the first step to achieve something. So, you know, if there's a situation with your child and they're afraid of doing something, well, what's the first thing you need to do here? So break it down into little steps and have courage just to take the first step. Generosity. So showing generosity will teach our children to give. That it's not all about us, and it will give a sense of community. So even, you know, if you're involved in any kind of community work or everything that you can maybe get your child to come along to or help with, you know, that builds that sense of a bond with the community, which is a big protective factor in communities, you know, in families, that if they are involved in the community, that they are less likely maybe to get into trouble with drugs and alcohol. Okay, so we'll finish with this one quote of today. A family is a place where principles are hammered and honed on the anvil of everyday life. A family is a place where principles are hammered and honed on the anvil of everyday life or everyday living. So this is where we create our principles and we hone them and develop them and, you know, grow them. It's in the family. Okay, so that's it for this module. So we have looked at role modeling and we have looked at building resilience. I think the two are really kind of very much linked. So that's why I included them together. So I hope you got something from it. And that's it for now. So I'll see you all on video 3. Take care. Bye.